What is going on, Yankee fans? And I'm back at it with another New York Yankees video, and happy opening day to all the Yankee fans out there. It is now 12:04 a.m., so it is officially opening day, and I wanted to saved, to making this video until opening day, finally hit, and it's official now. It's 12:04 a.m., so opening day is finally here. I'm so excited for today's ball game as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. But before I have my post-game my reaction to that game, before the game, the game hasn't started yet, but before I make my post-game video, I'm going to be doing my roster breakdown for the New York Yankees going into the 2021 season. I have the roster on my phone here. On the MLB At Bat app, I'm going to talk about every single player on the New York Yankees opening day roster, including the players that are injured. I'm going to touch on them as well, and just talk about my expectations for each player, and talk about the season they had last year and how I think they'll perform in 2021. So let's get right into it, shall we? So the first player we have on this list is Jay Bruce. This is in alphabetical order, so I'm not going by position. This is alphabetical, and the first player we have on this list is Jay Bruce. Now, Jay Bruce is going to be our starting first baseman until Luke Voight gets back, so probably until late May, mid-May, late May, Jay Bruce will be the starting first baseman for the New York Yankees, and Jay Bruce had a pretty solid spring. He hit the ball well. He's a lefty bat. He has power, and I think he fits perfectly for Yankee Stadium. And I liked the signing when we made the signing. I really liked it. I think he's a perfect bat for the Yankee Stadium, and I think Jay Bruce will be a solid bat until Luke Voigt comes back. I think he'll be, the typical bench bat, the utility man for the New York Yankees throughout the whole season. I really do. I like him a lot better than I do Mike Tauchman. He's got a lot of power. He doesn't play the field that well, but he plays multiple positions. He plays first. He can play the outfield. He can DH. He can play multiple positions. He's cerebral. So I like the pickup when we officially signed him. I like the signing, and I think Jay Bruce will be a pretty solid bat for the Yankees next season. So the next player we have is Luis Cesa. Luis Cessa is not very good, and my expectations are pretty low with Luis Cessa because he had a rough spring, and I think if you watch my videos, if you watched my spring training recap videos, I think you guys can tell I do not like Luis Cessa, so my expectations aren't very high for Luis Cessa. He's not a great pitcher. I think that's plain and simple, and he's been with the Yankees for a long time, so I've watched Luis Cessa pitch for a very long time. He's just not very good, plain and simple. The third pitcher we have on this list is Aroldis Chapman. Now, Aroldis Chapman is suspended for the first 2 games of the season because when he threw at, that guy's head, he has to serve a suspension for the first 2 games of the season, so we won't have him as the closer for the first 2 games of the Blue Jays series. But Aroldis Chapman, we all know what we're going to get out of him. He throws heat, he has a great slider, a great splitter, and he's one of the best closers in baseball. So, even though he chokes in the playoffs, I still like Chapman a lot. He's our best reliever. I don't think there's any debating that. Garrett Cole's the next guy. What's there to say? I got his shirt on right now, Cole 45, got his signature there. And the dude's the best pitcher in the American League. There's nothing else to say. The guy's an absolute stud. He throws he has a great fastball. He's you could argue he's the best pitcher in baseball. Now, I think it goes Jacob deGrom. I really do. I think Jacob deGrom's better, but the guy's just an absolute workhorse on the mound, and when he goes every 5 days for the Yankees, it's pretty much a guaranteed win because with the lineup we have and the bullpen we have, he has a great supporting cast around him. Garrett Cole's so good. There's nothing else to say. He had a great spring, and I expect it to lead into the regular season. He's going to be the starter for tomorrow's or today's game against the Toronto Blue Jays. I cannot wait to see him pitch against the Toronto Blue Jays with the fans in the stands for the first time. That will be exciting. And then Clint Frazier is the next guy. Clint Frazier, he's a good player, man. There's nothing really else to say about Clint Frazier. He's just a solid ball player. He improved his defense last year after a horrendous defensive season 2 years ago. In 2019, he couldn't play the field. He just couldn't. He was not good out in left field or in right field or wherever he was playing. But last year he massively improved, and he is a complete ball player. He hits the ball well. He hits homers. He runs the bases, and he plays a good defense. So I'm a big fan of Clint Frazier. I think he's going to be great for us. And then Brett Gardner is the next guy. Gardy had a great spring. I'm not going to lie. He had a great spring. I was against bringing him back this offseason, but I'm starting to regret that. Gardner's, he's a solid lefty over the bench, and he deserves another ring. Let's be honest. He's been with the Yankees his whole career, and let's hope we get him another ring this year. Domingo Herman's the next guy. This guy has a high ceiling. He is one of the nastiest pitchers in the league. If he can stay out of trouble in the offseason, he can be one of the better pitchers in baseball, and there's no debating that. You saw the year he had in 2019. The guy had 19 wins or 18 wins or whatever it was. He had a great year, and the long ball can be, it can be an issue, but if he throws strikes, he doesn't walk guys, and he doesn't give up home runs, Domingo Hermann can be a great pitcher for the Yankees. He could easily be our number 2 starter. It's just facts. And then, the next guy's Chad Green. You know what you know what you get out of Chad Green. He has stretches where he's really bad, and he has stretches where he's absolutely unhittable. So, he's been here the past few years. I know you know what you're gonna get out of Chad Green. He's inconsistent, but he gets the job done. And the next guy's Aaron Hicks, machine for getting on base. He doesn't really, he's kind of a boring player, but he plays a great defense out in center field, and the guy walks a lot. So. And he's clutch. He comes up clutch a lot. So I'm a big fan of Aaron Hicks. He's a good ball player. Kyla Goshiok is the next guy. He's the backup catcher. There's no way around it. He's got a decent bat, and he's definitely better defensively than Gary Sanchez. No doubt he's an upgrade over him defensively. But at the plate, I'm not a huge fan. The next guy is Aaron Judge. We all know how good Aaron Judge is. He's just got to stay healthy. That's the main thing with Aaron Judge. He has got to stay healthy. And if he does that, the guy's an MVP candidate. No way around that. And then Michael King's the next guy. I'm not too sold on him. I don't think he's a starter. I don't think he can, he can be a solid starter in Major League Baseball. I just don't think so. I don't really think he has the tools to be that. But he could be a decent arm out of the bullpen. I don't think there's any way around that. But I'm not a huge fan of Michael King. He gives up a lot of home runs. When he loses it, he gets roughed up. So I don't really know what to think about Michael King. I hope he can be decent, but I'm not too sure about him. And then Corey Kluber is the next guy. Had a good spring. He had an ERA over under 3, but he's got to throw strikes. He's got to have some control because he walked a lot of guys, and he put a lot of men on base last spring. It was a very small sample size, and he had a low ERA, but, take it with a grain of salt. He walked a lot of guys last year, so let's hope he fixes that, and hopefully he can be a solid number 2 until Luis Severino gets back. Next guy's DJ LeMahieu. Guy's a machine. His nickname is Le Machine, for a reason. The guy is an absolute machine. He's a leadoff hitter. He's the one of the only Yankee hitters that doesn't just hit home runs. The guy gets hits. He's productive. He's the perfect, he's the typical old school ball player. He does everything, right, the right way. And I'm so happy he's going to be a Yankee for the next 5 years. I'm so excited for that, or 6 years rather. And then Jonathan Loaisiga is the next guy. I am really excited to see Jonathan Loaisiga pitch this year because he had a phenomenal spring. Hitters could not touch Jonathan Loaisiga. I'm so excited to see him pitch. Maybe, just maybe, if Jordan Montgomery doesn't pitch well, they move him to the bullpen and put Loaisiga in the rotation. That'd be interesting. I think Jonathan Loaisiga is capable of being a number 5 starter for the Yankees this year. I really do think so. He had a great spring, and he's only getting better. I mean, the guy is, 26 years old. He's still very, very young. He has great stuff. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Loaisiga. I think he could be a starter for this team at some point this season. Lucas Letke, he had a great spring, did Lucas Letke. He had a great spring. And will it be a fluke? I don't know. The guy hasn't pitched in a big league game since 2015, but he could be a solid, back end of the rotation, bullpen kind of guy until Zach Britton gets back. I think Lucas Letke is going to be very solid for us. Now, don't expect Lucas Letke to be a guy that's going to pitch for like a 1 ERA. Don't expect that, but I think he can be solid. That's all I'll say about Lucas Letke. Next guy's Jordan Montgomery. Monty had a great spring. He had a really, really good spring. Now, he didn't have a great regular season last year. Now, he was coming off a big injury, and it was a very small sample size. But Monty can be a very solid 5, but, he can't give up a lot of hits. He's got to, keep the ball on the ground. He's got to strike out more guys. But, Monty can be a solid number 5, and if he can pitch to just a 3.5 ERA, I'm not going to complain. Next guy's Nick Nelson. This kid's nasty. No way around it. Nick Nelson is really good. He had, a 0.90 ERA, something crazy like that in the spring. He had a great spring. He is one of our better relievers. This guy is really good. Darren O'Day is the next guy. He had a really good spring. I get it was a small sample size. I get that. But he throws, he has the submarine windup. And the guy's a veteran. He's been in the league for a very long time. And he can be very reliable for the Yankees. And maybe even be our setup man until Zach Britton gets back. Next guy's Gary Sanchez. Make or break year for Gary Sanchez. He has got to perform. He can't be lazy. He's got to block the ball. He's got to move his body. If there's a pass ball or a wild pitch, don't pick it. Don't try to pick it. Don't try to stab at it. Move your body. Go towards the ball. Don't try to, just try to be fancy and just try to stab it. He's got to get more active behind the plate. And he's got to hit higher than 180. Just hit 230. Hit 230, and I think all Yankee fans will be happy with you. We need Gary Sanchez to bounce back in the worst way, and I really hope he does. Next guy, Giancarlo Stanton. Same thing, just like Aaron Judge. Got to stay healthy. The guy is an absolute beast when he's on the field. Can he stay on the field? That's the big question. Next guy, Jamison Tyle. Really excited to see J-Mo pitch. The guy seems to really like being a Yankee. He's teamed up with Garrett Cole now, his best friend, pretty much. I think he's going to be really good. He's got to stay healthy. That's the big question. can Jamison Tyle stay healthy? We'll have to wait and see. Mike Tauchman's the next guy. A decent bench bat. Not going to lie, he's a decent bench bat. Actually plays pretty solid defense out in left field. He can play multiple positions, and the guy can hit. No, there's no way around it. He wasn't good last year, but you saw the year he had in 2019 offensively. He was pretty good, I like Mike Tauchman. He's a good player. Glebe Torres is the next guy. He's, 24 years old. He's only getting better. He's only getting better, guys. He is one of the best shortstops in the league when healthy. He's got to improve his defense. His glove, it needs some work. But if he can improve that, he could be a legit top 30 player in Major League Baseball. That's how talented Glebe Torres is. He's one of the guys I'm so excited to watch play this year. Next guy, Gio Urshela, did not have a good spring. He didn't have a great spring, but it's the spring. Gio's going to bounce back. You know what he does offensively. He's great at the plate, and he plays unbelievable defense. He is the best defensive player on this team. I love Gio Urshela. There's no way around it. He's a really good player. Tyler Wade is the next guy, or the final guy that I have on the 40-man roster here. And Tyler Wade, he steals bases. That's pretty much it. He doesn't hit. He doesn't really play great defense. I don't like Tyler Wade. I don't really want him to make the team. I'd prefer Thairo Estrada over Tyler Wade, because Thairo Estrada can actually hit. Tyler Wade cannot hit. I don't know what to think about Tyler Wade, I'm not going to lie. And now we take a look at the players who are injured. So, the first injured player is Miguel Andujar. Now, I don't know about him. I really don't. He had one good year, and outside of that, he's been terrible at the plate and doesn't really serve much, with the glove. He just doesn't. I don't really know what to think about Miguel Andujar. I really don't. Zach Britton's the next guy. We really need Zach Britton back. He's one of the most important players on this team, but I really hope he can survive with Zach Britton hurt until Lucas Leckie, I really hope that Lucas Leckie and Darren O'Day could be solid setup men, until Zach Britton gets back, because the guy does not give up home runs. He just doesn't. He keeps the ball on the ground. He gives up a lot of double plays, and he is so useful when it comes to big games and getting out of jams. Zach Britton's the perfect guy you want on the mound, because he gives up ground balls. So, he's one of the most important players on this team, and we need him back as soon as possible. No way around it. Davey Garcia. Davey Garcia is the next guy. Now, he technically doesn't count because he's not starting the season with the team, but let's consider him as a big league ball player, because we saw him last year. We know how good he was last year. And, even though the ERA doesn't really show it, but I think we all know Davey Garcia. He is a good pitcher, but he didn't make the team. But he's going to pitch at some point this year. I think we all know that. And, the guy's 21 years old. The sky's the limit with him. I really like Davey Garcia a lot. And then the final guy we have on this list is Luke Voight. I'm sorry. There's two more guys that we're going to talk about. Luke Voight, he's coming off a big injury. He's going to have surgery on his knee. He had it a few days ago, and he'll come back probably around late May, early June. But you never really know with this team, but it's expected to be late May, early June. We need Luke Voight back. I don't think losing Luke Voight is going to be, a disaster for this team. I don't think that, but we need Luke Voight back. The guy led the league in home runs last year. He's a beast at the plate. There's no way around it. But, he's got to stay healthy. And I hope he comes back next, in May and June fully healthy. And then the final guy is Justin Wilson. Now, Wilson had a rough spring. No way around it. He did not have a good spring, but it was pretty obvious. He was dealing with an injury. If Justin Wilson stays healthy, he could be a very solid, 6th inning, 7th inning guy out of the pen. Along with Chad Green, he can be kind of that guy that holds the game for your starter. I really hope Justin Wilson comes back as soon as possible, because he could be a very solid arm out of the bullpen for the Yankees. But that is going to do it for this video. I don't know if I missed anyone. I think Clark Schmidt's a guy that I might have missed, but he probably wasn't going to make the team, so I'm going to leave him out of this video. But I think I went over every player for the Yankees that's probably at least going to play for the New York Yankees in 2021. What are your thoughts on every single player? I'm not asking you to talk about every player, but what are your thoughts on specific players from the New York Yankees? If you want to talk about Aaron Judge, you want to talk about Luke Voigt, Stanton, Cole, Torres, drop your expectations for the Yankees, and the main players especially, down in the comments below. Drop your expectations for the team. How do you think they're going to do this year? Do you think we're going to win the World Series? Do you think we're going to lose in the playoffs again? I'd love to know your thoughts on what you think the Yankees are going to do this year down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's game? Do you think we're going to win? Do you think we're going to lose? I'm going to have my post-game reactions, my first post-game reaction for a single game for the first time this year after the game, probably like an hour after the game. I'll have my video out, talking about the game, doing my recap, and if every video for the open, I'm going to recap every video for the first 3 games of the season. If those videos do well, I might continue to do them. If they don't, I'll figure out something. I'll probably do like a every series. I'll do a video talking about that, like I did with spring training. I'll do like a video for every single series. I'll talk about the series and talk about each game and all that. So, but if you guys do want to see daily recaps for the New York Yankees, I'd love to know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Because I really want to know your thoughts on, would you rather see like every series? Do you want to see a recap, or every game? Do you want to see a recap? I'd love to know your thoughts on that down in the comments below, because I don't know what to do with my, for the Yankees this season. I really don't know. So I want to know your, I want to know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. So that is going to do it for this video. Opening day is tomorrow, and I cannot wait. And I'll talk to you guys after the game tomorrow. Peace. Go Yankees.